Greetings, Patrick here, 8 Questions With, and welcome to the show. That's right. We are ending our week a little early this time. This will be the last show of the week. We will be talking to the Boston based rock and roll band, Major Moment, about 15 minutes. Andrey, Sasha, Colton, Steve, and Mike will all be here, and we'll be talking about their band. And if you're in the chat, you also could get a free CD out of this. Actually, anybody who's listening to this on the play after replay within a certain amount of time, of course, you too can win a free CD, and we'll bring you details on that as the show goes on. Hey, Jaden, how are you? Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Uh, yeah, we're going to be talking to a rock band. Yeah, that's right. We're bringing back another band, a Major Moment, and they will be here with us in about 15 minutes. They're solid. They're a really good band. Very popular and very popular too, from what I've seen. Their YouTube page and their Spotify pages are pretty lit with music videos on there. They're very active on their Instagram. This is a modern band operated in modern times. They're taking advantage of what has been given to them, and they are doing it themselves. Truly a DIY effort, and based on what I've seen, is doing very well. So that'll be very cool to talk to them in about 15 minutes. I definitely want to say thank you to everybody for this week. This week has been one. It's been a great one. I'm very appreciative to it too. We've been pretty busy. We had a great time. We had a great chat with Chris Lazaro. Man, it was a lot of fun. And then yesterday we had Crystal Connor from Cabin in the Woods Film Festival, and we were joined by our special co-host, uh, the, DeRay, also known as Rainbow Fright. She of the Golden Voice. She was here. We had a lot of fun. A lot of fun. You go back. I'm sure my expressions on that show will entertain you all, especially when we start talking about favorite horror films. Man, I just can't win for losing. But, but I came pretty close this week on Sharks and Schlock. That's right. It's week 4 of Sharks and Schlock, and me and Eric from Hey Internet, it's Eric. We are trying to outwit each other with who's got the worst shark movie and who got the worst schlock movie. Um, I actually thought the movie I gave him I was a blind one. It was a blind pick. The only thing I knew about it was it had Jeff Fahey's name on it, and I'm going like, well, it can't be that bad. It's got to be Jeff Fahey. 'Cause I was actually looking for another film to send him that starred Josh Lucas, but I couldn't find it on Tubi, so I went the Jeff Fahey movie. He gave me the Leprechaun's Game, so I hate him for that. I really hate him for that. So yeah, Leprechaun's Game is about as bad as you can possibly get. I've only seen one movie this year that's worse. Yes, I have seen a movie that is worse than Leprechaun's Game. There has been one that's been worse. The professor is here, my fellow budget baller in the house. A tremendous haul this week by the professor. Um, so I gave Eric I gave him the blue demon. I was looking for the black demon. I couldn't find it, so I gave him the blue demon. I thought it was on the same level as Swamp Shark. I thought, okay, Jeff Fahey's on there. It's a pretty good cast. I didn't realize that he was a supporting character in this movie. I thought he was the main star in the movie. That that sort of changed things around. It's like, yeah. So if he means he's just supporting, that pretty much means he's probably not going to be around for very much longer. He's probably going to be shark food. And based on what I could tell based on what I could tell, that's exactly what happened. so but Eric did say that the movie was far better than Sharks of the Corn, which I find that hard to believe considering how much fun he had with that movie last week. Um, this week though, I think we both came out about the even. I think he came out a little bit ahead of me. I think the Blue Demon is a better movie. I think I think he had a better time, and I also realized that I really pulled my punch on my review. I did. I did. I don't know if I'm capable of just blistering somebody 100%. It was a horrible movie, terrible everything about it. But there was a girl in the movie that I actually interviewed before years ago, and I didn't want to just totally rack the movie up with her in it. You know what I'm saying? Because she was in the movie. I don't want to do that. So I found myself when I dropped the video, I listened to it and I realized that I had really pulled my punch. But Victoria, in the future, please, please don't do another. I can't promise you that if I see you in another Louisa Warren movie, I will be so kind because she's just terrible director. She is. Um, what's going on, Reed? Glad you're here. Glad you're here. It is football season. I am ready. I'm pumped up. I hope you're ready too. Mountain West action popping off pretty soon. In less than about a month from today, I think. Week 0 kicks off. So football season will be back. College football, anyway. So I found myself pulling my punch. Um, but I guess I'm just a wuss. I guess I'm a wuss. Though I did rack Creepshow 3, and I did rack that one up pretty good, and I racked up Don't Go in the Woods Alone. Those two movies back to back, Leprechaun's Game and Don't Go in the Woods Alone. That's why you got Sharks for the Corn. And when Sharks for the Corn 2 comes up, that's why you'll be getting that one too, Eric. Anthony is now up to 1999 in his memoirs. He has blown past 1998. He is in 1999. That's right, 1999. I'm sure he'll be writing a whole chapter on Prince and his influence on the world back then. Yes, it is almost time for college football. I am jazzed up for that. Even though the NCAA and the ESPN has ruined college football as we know it. ESPN, yeah, that's you. You did it. I won't pull back on that. I won't pull my punch on that. ESPN has destroyed college football as we know it. They have destroyed it. It is totally. It's yeah. I think honestly, I think if you're students, I'm actually sort of surprised that students aren't really gathering up and start filing class action suits. Their money, their rates, the increase to going to school, all that money, all those hike, they get charged more and more money every year uh, for the fund of athletic department. I just want to know one thing. Now that these football programs, all these schools have all this massive money, and they're going to be basically paying the college players. They're not even going to be there. You can't even call them college players anymore. It might as well just call them AAA football. What does it matter if they don't go to? What does it matter if they don't go to class? They're still getting paid to play, right? Um, yeah, college football as we know it, they're all going to implode on itself for one thing. I just hope that the smaller schools like San Jose State and Hawaii, I hope we just continue to stay the course, do what we've been doing, playing ball above the board, making our kids go to class, developing them and to become good people, and continue to play good football. The other leagues, the Power Five or whatever they're calling themselves this week, it's going to all implode on them. It's just going to collapse. They can't sustain it. So Reed says Sharks of the Corn. What a gem that was. Oh my God. You watched that, huh? Oh my God. Eric would really appreciate it if you went over there and dropped a comment on his page about that. Yeah, he would be delighted. All right. right. All right. So, yeah, man, I'm digging this right here tonight. We're gonna be having a lot of fun, bringing back some more bands to the show. Super psyched about it. We had Candy Crush on. We've been getting some excellent bands. A lot of them out there. There are a lot of them out there. I just and I find myself as I'm interviewing more and more of these bands and more of these musicians. Man, I'm starting to that I'm like, man, this is I remember why I loved being in music for 10 years. I'm hearing them talk. I'm hearing them talk about live shows and songwriting and sitting, five people in a smelly van. I mean, I'm remembering those memories, man. It's like, yeah, that's right. I don't know how many bands I booked that were on tour. They're all there's five guys or four guys or a couple of girls or whatever it was. They'd be in a van, they'd be touring, and they'd be parked in front of the club, and then you go out there and you help them blow it out, and you wonder like how the hell did they get five people in there, and how I mean but and they just do it for the love of music, and God bless them for doing it, right? uh hey Jen, long time no see, hopefully you're doing well. I noticed that you've been I was thinking maybe you were doing some auditions. You're out there doing making your working on your acting journey. Hopefully that is working out well. Let's see. The professor says online friend of mine did a sharkathon, and when she got to Sharks of the Corn, she said that was the worst of the one that she saw. Yeah, if you ask Eric, he'll say the same thing. I had no idea. I had a feeling it was not going to be that good. I knew that going in. I knew that was going to. I knew it. Uh, but we'll have to save that conversation for a little bit later on the road because our friends, Major Moment, are here, and it's about time for us to go talk to them. So please help me welcome Andrey, Sasha, Colten, Steve, and Mike, also known as Major Moment. Here we go.
Hello,
Greetings,
hello.
greetings. How are you?
Hey Patrick, how are you?
Oh,
How are you
good, good, good,
guys?
good. Do we have two or do we have five?
We just
We
have
wouldn't be
to.
able to fit five even if we wanted to. No, we only have two for tonight.
Okay, good. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna straighten out the screen so we get both of you in it. That would make it a little easier
All right,
for us.
wonderful.
Much better.
There we go. All right. Well, you know what? We got Andrey and we got Sasha. I'm taking.
Yes.
Correct.
Hello. Thank
Hey,
you
everyone.
for having us.
I knew I was gonna get Sasha. I knew that was a given. I'm like, well, what are the odds are the other ones? But I'm glad you guys are here. I'm excited.
We're excited
Likewise.
too.
I'm excited because man, it's always I'm always thrilled to meet new bands and talk music and discover their drive and their energy and their creativity. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. We're gonna have fun tonight. I promise you that.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Thank you for having us, by the way.
Oh, thank you for being here. Oh, honor's all mine. Believe me. I'm tickled. I'm tickled you said yes. Especially as I was going, as I was looking in your background, playing, looking at Spotify and your YouTube channel, I realized that I got a pretty good sized band here. You guys have a pretty good following.
We're getting
We
there.
have the best following.
Yeah, very. Your following is like I'm like, wow, these guys are impressive. They're working.
We're definitely working. Thank you for noticing.
Oh yeah, yeah. The first thing I want to do while we're all here, before we get going, I want to talk about the free CD that you guys are giving out. Let's get some people
Ooh.
some CDs.
Sure,
So,
why not?
all right, let's do this. And it's really it's real easy to do, right? You guys decide to is it an album or an EP that we're giving away?
So we're giving away our debut EP, One Small Step. It to us it was kind of, and that's why we named it as well. This was like one of the first steps as a band, right? And we realized like the journey is a long and rocky one, but we were happy to be making that one small step, and to us it's like still a milestone in our career, like a point of departure. So we wanted to share that as a piece of our history with as many of new listeners as we can find. And that's why we decided to run this promo, where we would just basically
Give it away.
give away our debut EP, right, and let people decide whether or not they want to continue following us on our journey, whether or not they want to discover where our sound went next after the first EP. Maybe they recently discovered us, and maybe they gonna be surprised, because there was definitely quite a transformation between different releases, right? And especially if you compare our debut EP and our like upcoming album and some of the singles that we are releasing and we released in the recent months, there's definitely an interesting change of sound. So we thought it would be cool for people to kind of follow us. Especially if they enjoy the first EP, they will definitely enjoy the second and the album. So we thought, like this is going to be a fun experiment.
Now, isn't that nice? This is something too that I love the fact that you said you evolved your sound. It's only in music can an artist evolve their craft and get lit up for it, right? I mean, if you're a painter and you're drawing finger painting, and then you go to brush, and then you go to where you're applauded. If you start acting. If you start acting and you play Rosebush number 2, and then you become supporting actor, then a lead actor, then an Oscar, you're applauded, right? You're applauded for your growth. Baseball players, football players, you start small and they get bigger and better and get faster, right? And you get applauded for that. Musicians go ahead and they evolve their sound from when they first started, and fans are going like, "What's that? What are you doing?"
Yep, that's definitely the case. That's not the case for us, though. Fortunately,
right.
Yeah, your fans understand. That's, to me, that's true musician fans. Fans, I mean, you can tell a casual fan from a real fan, because a real fan will sit there and say, anything that you do that makes you happy, that moves your band forward, we're on 100%. When you got those ones that are sitting there and maybe they heard one single and they like the single or whatever, and all of a sudden then you change your sound, and next thing you know, you hear this, "Oh, you guys must have sold out," or "You guys changed. You guys aren't the same band." That's a casual fan. That's a Walmart fan. A fan that really isn't a fan that's really not a fan. A fan like we'll dig this EP. We'll love this EP as much as you do your new record, because it's you. It's your sound. So
right. Especially keeping in mind that like whatever we do, we also keep our fans in mind. Like we want to give them the absolute best we have at the moment, right? Like we want to give them the accurate representation of like our inner world, right? Like of our thoughts and of our feelings, right? So
the
experiences, right? So like we want to share what we feel right in the moment when we're creating a song, right? So we hope they enjoy the evolution of the band, and I'm pretty sure that we're not going to stop experimenting and evolving with this album. We're working on more more weird and experimental stuff, but also very cool and very exciting as well. Yeah. So, all of those experiments, we're super thrilled to share whenever the time is going to come.
So let me give some details before I get to the chat. Let me give some details of how this is going to work. Anybody that hears my voice today, and I'm not sure how long it'll last, probably till supplies last, but anybody hearing my voice today. So here's how it works. You can get a free EP of Major Moments Music. You can go to Instagram. If Instagram, fine. You can go ahead and give them your name, your address. The only thing it'll cost you the shipping. You can, and I'm sure that's media shipping, so it won't be that much. So you'll pay just for shipping, but you get a free CD out of it. That's a good deal. That's a fair deal. That's a really fair deal. So free music. All you have to do is pay media shipping, which is the cheapest shipping that the post office has, I believe.
Yep.
The cheapest one, and you'll get an EP sent to you. And if you guys do that, and you get your record, I love this. I love to see you guys post a picture of the record in your hand, saying, "Hey, look what I got." And then that we'll try to do. We'll post pictures of all of you. We'll post pictures of people who sent pictures. I'll post them on my Instagram. I'll post them on my
Nice.
Instagram, and you'll sit there and say, "I got some free music from Major Moment on 8 Questions With," and it'll help the band out. It'll help your musical collection out, and we'll be happy to do it.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, I think so too. I saw the picture of Sasha, and she's sitting there, and she's got like, it looked like 100 CDs. Like you're signing them. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, Alexi and Sasha will also be signing their CD as well. It won't be just a CD; it'll be a signed EP that you'll get. So
for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Always happy to do it, free of charge too.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do right now, because I should do this, is I am gonna drop Major Moments Instagram into the chat, so you guys can go over there, follow them, sit there and say that the Cheetah sent you. That's me, the Cheetah. So here's the link to their here's the link to Instagram page. So you can go over there, follow them, send them a message saying, "Hey, I saw you on 8 Questions With. I'd love to get a CD. Here's my name, address, or whatever, and my and also send them your money for the EP. Media mail, cheapest there is. So all right, so let's get going. Now, obviously, we hear from your accents that you are you originally from America, or are you from another, or did you come here from another country?
We did come from another country, and originally we are from Russia.
Okay.
We moved at a different time. It was like 10 years for me and many years for Andrey.
Too many years, 18 years for me. Yeah, I moved to the States 18 years ago, and yeah, I'm happy to be here. We're happy to be here. We're happy to be making music here, for everybody in the world to hear.
Hopefully our accents disappear when we sing, so
we try our best we try our best, honestly.
They always do. If you go back and listen to, you turn on any Englishman, and you can't, well, they're hard to hear anyway. They speak English, but sometimes you can't understand what they say. But good Lord, once they start singing, their accents all go away. So
yeah, isn't it
I don't know how that works.
So interesting how it works. Yeah, I was always fascinated by that as well.
So what brought you over to the States? Was it did you guys come over here differently for school? Did you go to a university, or?
Well, I came here with the kind of having a desire to pursue a career in music in the back of my mind. Whether or not it happened right away, it didn't, unfortunately. I got carried away by, just like normal daily stuff, like finding a job, finding a second job, trying to establish myself here, like the paperwork, all of this good stuff, right? So it took me a few years to get back, to where I wanted it, to start pursuing what I actually wanted to pursue, which is music making. We started making some demos, and a few years later, I went back and dusted off the old hard drive and found those demos, and decided that it's going to be now or never. And here we are. And some of the demos can be heard as finished Major Moment songs. Some of them were created like 17 years ago. Some of them were fairly recent, right?
Yeah.
And Sasha?
And my background is all interesting, unusual, I would say. My whole life I've been a professional tennis player, and I was traveling the world and always going back to Russia, Moscow, where I'm from. And one time I was traveling in the US and met Andrey through our mutual friend who was also a Linkin Park fan. So like you can say that music connected us together.
Definitely.
And I actually moved to be together with him, and now we're married and we're making music together, which is amazing.
A professional tennis player. Wow. Okay.
Yep.
I did not know that. That is very cool. Now,
Fun fact.
yeah, fun fact. Can sing and have a wicked forehand.
Exactly.
Now, did tennis come first for you? I mean, were you a tennis player first before you became a musician, Sasha?
Definitely, I would say so, but I was singing from when I was like 3 years old. So poorly singing first, but now I'm getting better. Hopefully.
We have some questions coming in. So I'm going to
All right, let's hear 'em.
I'll start feeding the questions in as they come in. Our friend Jen asked, what challenges and or milestones have you faced in changing your sound? I don't think we got to the sound yet. I'm going to hold off on that one yet. We'll come back. We're going to
Okay. We'll think about the proper answer for that meanwhile, right? Because it's a packed one.
Okay, how about this one from Jen? She says, what's your favorite American stereotype? And what upsized challenges do you face being an immigrant from Russia?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
How much time do we have to unpack that?
I was thinking about that one too. I'm thinking about that one.
Right. If we only start counting the challenges, there's going to be...
I think I know the answer, at least from the top of my head. I can say that I love how people like casually dress when they go out. I really love that aspect. And like before, I used to think about like for 10 minutes you should like be all dressed up, makeup on, like you should be like to the best of your looks to go somewhere out. And now I can just casually
relax and not worry about being judged all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that stereotype.
People, back in the 50s, that used to be the way it was back in the 40s and the 50s. People would dress up in suit and ties just to go grocery shopping.
Right.
Now I throw on pajamas and go.
It's a little excessive to shop in the suit and tie, right? But we're not gonna judge. If that's your thing, go for it, right? As long as you're comfortable with it.
Now, Sasha, you were playing tennis. Now, when you were on the rise up to play tennis professionally, were you also is that where you got into singing as well as you were learning to play tennis?
Oh no, I think music was with me my whole life, and I was just loved listening to different types of music. Usually that's English. Like Western culture music, and that's how I actually learned the language. I was translating lyrics of like Linkin Park and other artists, and got my vocabulary a little bit better.
Same story.
And like traveling also helps to apply what you've learned. So
yeah, for sure.
It all came together, and like I was always. I don't know, like driving somewhere in the car and would sing on the back seat of the car and drive my parents nuts because I somehow like all the lyrics stay in my head, and
your parents were driving you and you were driving them nuts.
Right.
That's how it works.
That's nice.
They're driving you to practice or a tournament, and you're driving. Well, I think what you really could have done is could have really got them going if you started like a little mosh pit in the backseat of the car.
Right.
So I was thinking I'm gonna become a tennis racket #1, and will release my own album after this.
Well,
so I had some music aspirations too, but I never thought that it's gonna actually happen. So
it's really
I'm grateful.
the number one instrument that Americans use before they start their career in music. The first instrument they learn to play, and this is true in Canada too. I know this. Is that we all learn how to play a tennis racket. We
Yes,
do. We all play a
a lot
tennis
of
racket.
that.
You know, whether it's a rock and roll or banjo or bluegrass, we all have a tennis. We also have a tennis racket. We all learn how to play via tennis racket.
Actually, that's a good point. That's going to be my next answer. Next time someone's going to ask for it, how did you start your music career? I was playing a tennis racket.
Right. Well,
it's perfect.
One, it has strings, right?
Yeah.
So, the comparison is obvious.
Before air guitar became a thing, it was always about tennis rackets. I'm not even kidding you.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding you.
No, for sure.
I
Yeah.
I might be sort of. I might be sort of acting like. I might be saying, for a joke. But honestly, all of us kids, all my friends, that whenever we play or whenever we pretend we were a band, we would grab a tennis racket, and that would be our instrument. Andrey, let's talk about you. You did not learn how to play.
Yeah, I didn't have a tennis racket growing up, so I was playing broom. Just a broom, the one that you used to sweep floors. Similar idea, but not as fancy as playing a tennis racket.
Were you playing guitar broom or were you playing stand-up bass broom?
Right. No, it's a little it's a guitar with an extended neck.
Nice.
Tough times.
Nice.
Yeah, true story.
So talk to us a little bit about your musical journey. Now you're in Russia when you learn how to play. So
when I learned how to play broom, yeah. Yes, kind of a similar story in some ways with what Sasha was saying, and like a little bit different in others. So I grew up in a family where music was always like in our house. Music was always on in our house. My dad is a huge fan of bands like the Beatles, and like my mom loved ABBA, like a lot of also Western bands, right? Like my parents loved some of Russian artists as well, but mostly it was rock from England, US. So it was also kind of natural for me. To some technical difficulties, like what's new, right? My dad plays piano and guitar pretty well. My mom sings really well. So it was kind of natural for me to like start picking up things here and there, right? And like then I went to music school. Not like not like a college, right? But in Russia we have like what would you call it? Like specialty schools, yeah. Right? Like for right. Exactly. So I unfortunately quit after a few years, which I still regret up until this day. I wish I didn't. Because like I would definitely want to have the skills I would have developed right now.
Definitely.
But it is what it is, and I learned a few things, and kind of became a part of my journey as well. And then of course the whole thing with learning English and translating songs, so I can make sense of what people are singing, right? And I was hugely into video games as well, so translating the text on the screen, like whatever it says, right? Like sometimes it would be like a necessity to understand like what other steps you need to take, right? Like to get to the next level or something.
Is American culture? I mean, I know you haven't been there in a long time, but was American culture back when you were growing up and learning how to play your instruments and listening to music? Was Western influence culture music? Was it big in Russia or
yeah?
Was it...
Oh yeah,
big deal. Yeah, for sure.
Still is.
Even like outside of music, like movies, like Hollywood movies, cartoons. Growing up, I grew up on Disney cartoons, also on like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That was one of my favorite ones. Transformers. Yeah, it was just all around, and the music as well is just the whole culture was kind of international. Then later on, we started kind of borrowing influences from Asian cultures as well, like from Japan, where anime became more popular in Russia. Like I would say, more closer to like the end of 90s, 2000s. Cartoons like Sailor Moon, right? Like being hugely popular. Pokemon later on, also.
Everyone was watching MTV when they still like were playing music videos and playing music.
Yeah. Yeah, we had our own MTV in Russia that was broadcasting at first. Kind of copying everything that was broadcasted here, and then we started having like our own VJs and our own hosts that would introduce like international music as well as like the music that was kind of emerging in Russia as well.
That must have saw. Do you feel like when MTV came into Russia, where do you think had the most influence as far as either one of you? Was it the video? Was it the music video, or was it the radio? Which influenced you most, or you think influenced Russians toward accepting Western music? Where do you think had the most influence? Radio or music video?
That's a good question. I think a little bit of both. Definitely, like finding out new music, it was easier on the radio. But then I discovered like MTV, I would say a bit late, but when I did, it was like I loved story-based music videos and was always like keep an eye on new releases from my favorite artists. So definitely both.
Right, and especially if you think of music videos kind of being an extension of the song and the artist's vision. Whether or not it's directly following the story of the song, or it just like takes off in a completely different direction, it's still a very interesting thing, and like it just creates like a larger picture, because like with the sound you only have like one dimension, right? Like, but then you add the visual side to it as well, so you get to see sometimes you get to see who's the artist, right? Because like otherwise you wouldn't know unless you saw them like somewhere in the magazine, right? Or like on TV performing. But also you get to explore their vision through music videos as well, and this is what we're firm believers in, and that's what we try to do with our music videos as well. We have quite a selection right now. We, I think, have close to a dozen music videos done, and I don't know if we're stopping anytime soon, because like for us it's very important to tell the story from from different directions, from different angles. We think that's that's a cool thing. Whether or not it's definitely, music videos are not for everyone. We asked our followers on social media once, and some of them said like, yeah, I love them, and some of them said like, this is not for me. Like, sometimes music videos ruin the perception of the song, which is fair. It could be true as well. But if you don't want to watch music videos, you don't have to, right? But if you want to, we also have those.
Well, I think let me check the chat real quick here. Okay.
Yeah, what do people think about this? Let's see.
That's a really good question. I mean, even now, I definitely want to address that because I personally feel, it's sort of weird. I still think music videos have their place, but it seems like like MTV does no. The people who started the music video and got the influence going are turning around and turning the back on it. And yet music videos are a tremendous way for a band to get their sound out. You got over 7,000, 7,500 people on your YouTube channel. They can go to your channel and watch your latest video. Okay, I mean, they can actually see that. Okay, and music videos are still vital. They're still important. Bands can do their own music videos now. They don't need to have a big production company. They can do their own, whether it be a concert video when they're playing live in concert, or a story video bands have that option on their own now. Now they don't need
Right.
an entity like MTV. And MTV gave up on music videos decades ago.
Sadly, so yes, but we didn't. So there's that. We didn't give up on them.
Let's see. Let's see. We got that one. Let's see. See how supportive were your friends and family as you pursued a music as a career? So did your family? Have you always been supported by your family in making music? Or?
I would say they're trying to support.
Right.
It's not their thing, like what the music that we're doing, but they still like can enjoy a couple of songs that like don't be too aggressive in my family. But I love the direction that we're going towards, and we're not gonna stop because of that. But parents trying to support us. I wouldn't say they would say like choose a profession, stop fooling around with music. Even though like
well, my parents kept telling me this for years and years, and like it never worked. So eventually they gave up on me, just like MTV gave up on music videos.
So they always wanted you. They were wow. I mean, making music is making art. It's art. It's really what it is. It's just art with instruments and voice. So I would think that most parents would support it. You would think, but I'm glad.
But it's a very tough industry to be in. It's
exactly.
very tough. It doesn't like music. The perception is that the music is for free. It's like on your screen, like 24/7, you can listen to the whole library of like the whole world in like 1 second, and. It's tough to market yourself and tough to make a living out of it, but I think it's possible, and that's what we're going to try to do.
Yeah, I think my parents are also supportive, but they also like, they were protective as well. Like they want to make sure, we know what we're doing, what we're getting into as far as, the ability to turn.
I have a Spotify account. I listen to Spotify. And like when I turned on, when I listened to you guys after we talked, and I listened to your music, and I know I'm listening to it free. I know I'm hearing it for free. And I'm aware of what that means. It's like, but it sucks that the fact of the matter is, it sucks that a lot of musicians, they can put it out on Spotify, but now you're discovering the same thing as. Well, I guess you're part of physical media. You're starting to see what we're seeing as movie collectors as far as physical media goes, and it's disappearing. It's disappearing.
Yeah.
It's like before, you sit there and listen to Major Moments, say, "Hell yeah, this is all right." I just watched a kick-ass video. I love their sound. I'm gonna drive down the street and buy a record. It's just not available.
That was a commitment, by the way. Not many people would go as far as like driving somewhere, standing in line. When an album drops nowadays, right? Like, why would you do it? You can just like wait, and it's there. It's on your phone, right?
Yeah, I was one of those
convenient.
I was one of those people. I used to go down there every Tuesday in front of Tower Records when I knew a record was coming out that I wanted to get. Tuesday was new release day. I would zip down there. I'd be first in the first line. The door would open up. I would go in there and get the record that I want, and I could get it home. Yeah,
nice.
And sometimes the record stores would also run out of stock. Believe it or not, which doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
Spotify just keep playing it on repeat as many times as you want. It's always gonna be there. Which is to be fair, it's like an amazing creation, right? Like it. Kind of broadened the horizons for everybody, right? Like it made music accessible. Pretty much for everybody, right? You don't have to worry like, oh, do I have enough money saved up to afford like the third album this month, right? No, just like for the same monthly fee, you get access to whatever you want. But of course, there's a flip side of that as well.
The thing is, though, it's all about what the artist gets. It's like, yes, we listen to Spotify, and hopefully if we listen to, to me, it's like if we listen to a song all the way through, right? We listen to a song all the way through. A band should get a cut from that. whatever the Spotify feels. I mean, whatever it's right, not what Spotify feels. Well, I feel like I should give them. They should pay me. No, no. If someone comes in there and they go ahead and they listen to your music and listen to it, listen to the whole album, then I think that you should get compensated for that. I mean, they're
Yeah,
making
it's
money. They're making money. They're reaping money. That's Spotify is making money hand over fist. They can afford to pay their artists. They wouldn't be there if it wasn't for the artists.
That's
You know,
true. A tough topic, but
yeah, it's a topic for a whole other episode of more than just 8 questions. That's gonna probably run for like
whoever's
4
interested,
hours.
you can catch Andrey on Threads.
Yeah, I'm
all day.
I love discussing different sides of the music industry, including streaming. I keep reading basically everything about what's new about Spotify and like what other stupid things Daniel X said and whatnot, right? And like how he probably got lost in translation. His thoughts got lost in translation or something, right? Sometimes, but yeah, it's all good, like we're artists, right? So it's up to us to be creative, right, and find that solution to the problem. Like otherwise, what kind of creatives are we, right? If Spotify doesn't pay us, well, go find another solution to get paid.
I mean, the music, the world in general, the technical world is changing so fast that like I feel like music industry does not keep up.
Right.
And,
it's like pointless to keep crying about like things that are things of the past, right? Like when I don't know, typewriters became a thing of the past, right?
You're right. And I mean, it's like I don't know anybody who's been in music for any length of time can actually truly look behind, because sometimes you go over you see this on videos like on YouTube. Someone will put a clip up or something, and someone's always says, "Boy, I love the '80s. That was the best time," or I love the '90s. That was the best time.
Right.
Listen, I went through the '80s and the '90s, and let me tell you, they weren't all that. I mean, I'm with you. I don't necessarily think you need to look back. I just think what you need to do is you need to go and harness the best parts of everything and bring it into the forefront. I mean, to me, I personally feel like the music video itself is critical. I still think it's relevant.
Yeah.
Radio, on the other hand, commercial radio, not so much. A band doesn't need radio anymore. A band does not need radio. A band can do everything. It used to be, unless the band was on a record, it was on a label or on the radio. They weren't successful. Not anymore. You don't need to be on the radio, and at all. And you don't need to be signed up to a big label either.
That is true. Right. That is true.
You're proof of that. You're absolutely a proof of what. You don't need that anymore. All you need to do is just continue to do your own thing. You know how to market. You know how to play. You know how to tour. You know how to communicate with your fans. They love you. They can listen to you at any time through Spotify. They don't need any of that movement. So more power to you. No, the past. That's the reason why they call it the past, because it's a lot of the ideas that were there. They're in the past. Now you look forward. So tell us about the
100%.
first time you got together. Tell us about the first time that you guys got together as Major Moment. Had you guys been playing in other? I'm sure Andrey you had been playing in other bands up till that point, right?
Why do you think so? That's so much.
No, not really. To be honest with you, and we keep joking with Sasha that Major Moment is kind of our first band is, and most likely it's our last band as well. Like we're that committed to it, and like we think. Some people find themselves in like 5-6 different projects. Like for us, it's like mind-boggling. How do you do this? Because like for us, even handling one band is more than enough. Like there's never enough time in a day, in a week, in a year to accomplish everything that we've planned with just one project, right? And like we work nonstop, right? And still,
it's like at least 6 full-time jobs in one.
Oh yeah, if not more than that. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I haven't been in any other bands, and I always thought like I should, if I started the band, that I probably should give it, everything I got, and that's what I did, and that's what Sasha did as well. Going back to your original question, so the way we formed as Major Moment is a complicated story, right? And our lineup kept changing quite a few times.
I think we're still forming, though.
We're still forming, right? But we believe that we have the right people alongside us right now, and and next time we meet up to maybe perform something live right in front of the audience. Obviously, it's not going to be just the two of us, but the whole band is going to be here, and we're going to be very excited for you guys to meet them as well.
Yeah,
that's right. We had talked beforehand. Most of the time, we're always playing during the interview. That won't happen tonight, per request. We're going to do it again when they come back. Major Moment comes back. Sasha and Andrey come back. We'll have the whole band there, and then we'll get a mini set, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, you just want your sound to be as perfect as you can get it whenever you play.
Right. We try to keep the level, a certain level of quality, between different things that we do. Right. So for us, if we agree to do a live performance, online, especially live on air, right? Like it has to sound good, it has to look good. I think with the looking good part, we kind of have it all figured out. Now we just have to make sure that we have the right equipment, the right mics, everything is sounding as good as we can make it sound.
Yeah.
Even though all you need is Sasha's voice and a broomstick.
Oh.
Sasha, bring the broomstick.
Acoustic broom set.
Acoustic broomstick.
We're getting about the 90s. So the 80s and 90s had the best cartoons. Can we agree on that? I think I'd
say so.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Definitely.
Pretty fair.
Yeah.
I mentioned. I mentioned.
Man, I bawled my eyes out watching Lion King like when I was like 12. It's insane. I was weeping.
That's all right.
It was so sad.
I got choked up when I was watching Monsters Inc. So Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So you guys got together, and let's talk a little bit about that dynamic, because that is a dynamic with bands a lot. Were you surprised? I mean, was it the same dynamic in building a band? Is it the same as in Russia as it is in the United States? I mean, if you were going to form a band in Russia, is it the same thing? Do you put out flyers? Do you talk to fellow band members? Do you follow, or was band building different over there than over here?
So first of all, we don't really know because we've never been in a band in Russia. Also, very good point that Russia is so big. Like I'm from Moscow, and that's more of like a European city, and it's very modern. Like we have all the technology there, and other parts of Russia, for example,
slightly underdeveloped.
Yeah, it's like a completely different world. So Russia is very big.
Right. I think like if we go back a few years, right, because the current situation in Russia is very different from the Russia we used to know and we used to live in. We're kind of devastated by what's happening right now currently, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the whole war situation also took, the arts, it took a hit from it as well, because like a lot of things are banned right now in Russia, and it's like it's dark times. But before that, if we rewind 5-6 years, right? I actually went to Russia to promote One Small Step, and I performed there with the session musicians, and I was at one of the panels that were that were held in Moscow about the music industry and like the ever evolving climate of the music industry. And I was able to talk a little bit about how things are here, and I heard how things were there, right? So a lot of things were the same, honestly, the same type of promotions. Everybody was already kind of transitioning to the social media element of promoting rather than just giving out flyers. But I'm sure back in the 90s and like early 2000s, that was the thing.
Yeah.
Russia didn't have MySpace, but it had like a different platform. So again, a lot of similarities here with the way artists promote their music here, and the way that they used to promote it there.
So let's talk about your first gig that you played with as a band. So here you are in the United States, and you guys are based in Boston. Have you both lived in Boston all this time?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Boston has a great scene, by the way.
It used to. Saddens me to say, but we don't have that many venues that would cater to like emerging rock or metal acts anymore.
Yeah.
There are still a few left, but a few got closed down, especially after the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Rock radio stations were like, they don't exist here for probably a decade almost.
Yeah.
So we got lucky because we were some of our songs were actually played on WAAF before it got shut down. So that's amazing. Also a piece of history now. Unfortunately, we wish the scene was thriving, right? But I don't know if I can honestly say it is.
That's actually pretty shocking, because Boston has always had a pretty good scene. And always had
it definitely had the reputation for like the rock, if not capital, right? But like one of the major cities for rock music. And right now it's kind of, sad to see the current climate, and even for us as a band, it was, it took us several years to find, members for our band, right? Because people were just like, not really interested maybe in being a struggling musician, and doing all the work, and
You would think that's like where the Berkeley is and a lot of great musicians, but what we've noticed is that a lot of them, after they graduate, they expect that they're gonna just make money right off the gate, and unfortunately or fortunately for some people, they choose to play like in a cover band because that's much easier,
where you get paid, right?
And give up on their own music.
Tribute bands now. Tribute bands are nothing more than cover bands. See them, and to me, I'll be honest with you. My feelings about cover bands or tribute bands, honestly, I hate them. I hate them all. Like,
well, you know what? Like, there's nothing wrong with them, right? It's not, if they're having fun and if it's their definition of living a dream, so be it, right? And if people want to just, attend shows of cover bands and tribute bands and hear the old familiar songs that they've heard a million times before on the radio, and they've been to the original shows many times and whatnot, and they just want to have the same old bubblegum, going on.
Yeah,
that's fine too. Like whatever makes you happy, right? But for us, it was.
Here's the problem with that, Andrey, is I've seen this too. See, here's the problem with that. You could have, and I can tell you this by experience. There was a club that I used to, I got asked to work for, and the person said, "Hey, I want you to come in and establish original music night." No problem. I walked over there, and it's like, okay, let me have your slowest night. Well, it's a Sunday, okay? So take Sunday, and you go ahead and you book original bands there, okay? Original music, original bands. You start booking them in there. Now he decided that what he wanted to do is initially he wanted to do was dueling pianos. That was his idea to open up his club. He was going to have two different pianos. They were going to duel, and people are going to be having a good time. Well, after 3 weeks and nobody coming in, he knew he had to make a change. So what he did was he brought in the original music, and then he brought in a cover band. Now, the cover band is like, I guess the cover band and the tribute band are two different animals. A cover band will cover anybody. They'll cover anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Frank Sinatra to ABBA, they'll cover it.
You're right.
Okay, I get that. The tribute bands are going out there and following in the footsteps of the band that started it, that was an original band that played on Sunday nights before anybody knew who they were, and they put their blood, sweat, and tears into creating that music. They created that music. They got it out there in front of the people, their own original music. And then you got people coming from behind that, walking in and their steps, playing their music and making a lot of money doing it. And I can tell you, there's a lot of bands out there now that the tribute bands have made a lot more money than the original band did when they first cranked it out.
Because they didn't sign those predatory record contracts, I guess. They didn't have to. They were signed for them already. Yeah, I totally agree with you, actually. And I hear the point. But it's just so much more important for original bands to try to find their audience themselves. So that Sunday night is going to get transformed back into the original music, because like that band is going to draw that many more people than the cover band before them. And people are going to discover that, original music is great, even though it's like, it sounds, unfamiliar and kind of foreign at first, right? But then you discover the beauty of, finding new sounds, right? And finding new genres and new directions and like experiencing something you haven't heard before.
For people, it's different. It's difficult to explore new music once they're like set with what they like. It's hard, I think, but
right.
It's hard to compete with something that's already familiar and on the radio all the time.
And the thing is, though, is that the people listening to it, they don't even understand the irony of it. They're sitting in there, and they're sitting in there watching the tribute band or the cover band, and the irony of what they're doing goes right over their head. It's like there were people. Where do you think these people got these songs that they're knocking their head to? Yeah, man, play Freebird. Okay, Stairway to Heaven. Where do you think that came from? They came from bands that are making original music and playing in front of people. I mean, they had to create, they had to put their blood, sweat, and tears into it, and it just seems really it just rankles me to see such, and especially and I'll give you this, cover bands, as far as musicians go, some of the best. Some of the best musicians. They have to be. They play all. They'll have a catalog of 300 songs, and they all have to know. They have to know all of them.
Yeah, go try learning them. Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
So I mean, as far as that goes, you go like, wow, you got the talent, you got the ability. Take it a step further and create something of your own. Create your own voice. Don't make money off somebody else's work. Make money doing it off yourself. Look, it might be harder to do. It is harder to do. And obviously, it is. But again, you got YouTube, you got Spotify, you got a lot of different places where bands can get their voice out and be heard. They don't need to sit there and they don't need to sit there and like hope to hell that I get picked for a mid slot on a Wednesday. Now there's a lot of way. I mean, that's one thing I'm really impressed with you guys, as you promote like hell. If my bands worked half as hard as you did back in the 90s, oh my God. Oh my God. I wish honest to God, when I was looking at you guys and I see how you promote yourselves, I got tears in my eyes. I got tears because that's how it was. That's how it should be. To get out there and bust your ass and get your music out there.
That's right.
Instead of just sitting there thinking you're entitled to it.
Yo, for sure. Yeah.
I mean,
that's a big one.
Well, there's also another side to this. We just spoke to another musician who probably going to become our guitarist and second guitarist. And he told us that like he is shy, or like not shy, but not virtuoso enough of a guitarist to be like in a band and play music and become like a rock star. That like his best idol is playing like so good on the guitar.
Right, but the point being like you don't really have to be like the best player in the world, you know, or you can be the best player in the world, but if that's all you do, like that, nothing is gonna happen. You're gonna be the best player in your bedroom, you know. Nobody's gonna find out about you, you know, and unless you go out and do work. And like going back to what you were saying, Patrick, is like, you know, those cover bands, you wish they would take it one step further. Well, unfortunately, I think it's gonna take a lot more than just one step, you know.
Yeah,
it's a whole other journey. And yeah, and of course, right, like why would you want to invest money, thousands and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Well, you can get paid instead, you know, like, isn't that better, right? Isn't that like how it's supposed to work? I'm the musician, you know, I deserve to get paid. I know my craft, I know my instrument, right?
Yeah.
So does a mercenary, you know.
A little drastic of a comparison there, but yeah,
you know,
okay.
it's like I have much more respect for bands such as yourself. I always will. That will never change. I will always talk to you before I ever talk to a tribute band. I will never talk to a tribute band. I won't talk to a cover band. I have no. Why? What they're going to tell me about songs they didn't create? Wow, I could go to Team Beat and do that. You know, I'm not going to sit there and talk to you guys to see what it was like to sit there and write your songs. Like that'll actually be my next question to you after I catch up on the chat. And you guys are fantastic. You guys are fantastic, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
You guys are, yeah, I'm digging this.
It's just their craft. Also, I wanted to add on this a little bit. Like there are still programs like The Voice and American Idol when they just like showcasing their talent, and that's pretty much what cover band is doing. So
yeah, you know, and I challenge anybody.
It's attractive.
Right? I challenge anybody right here, right now, to listen in the chat without looking it up. Name me 5 people who won The Voice right now. Could you do it? Could you tell me 5 people who won The Voice?
We can probably name a couple, but like to me personally, I wouldn't be able to tell the voice between American Idol and America Got Talent, right?
That's right?
So for me, it's all the same thing. So I could name Kelly Clarkson. I could name Daughtry. But
we don't know if they won. I don't know.
Right, we don't know if they won.
Chris did not win. Chris Daughtry did not win. That was that year that he was on. That was my pick.
I was actually watching his original audition video. We were watching literally maybe like a month ago. It was so interesting because like obviously he's such a talent, you know, like he has a great voice. We like what he does, you know, but like he got really like grilled by the judges there, you know, like people were like, and they were like Simon Cowell and whatnot, like I don't know if I see anything in you, like what are you talking about, like it's just
Simon Cowell is everything that is wrong with music. Every single thing that's wrong with music. He really is. He is the original hack. If you go back and you track all the bands that he had a hand with, right? Even the ones that won the American Idol, what have you, that guy has the same program. You go back and you bring up all the acts that he worked with, and they'll put up the first record or the second record. They always have pretty much the same songs on them. All the cover, it's the same ones. It's all cookie cutters for him. It's all cookie cutters. There's nothing original there. Oh yeah, Simon Cowell's a hack. I mean, he's not innovative at all. He got rich off an idea. You know, he got rich off vote for your favorite. But he himself, as far as the music producer go, he's a hack.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's no.
It's just the attitude that like pisses me off.
Yeah, same.
You
You
cannot
know, like who are you to tell like an artist that is standing in front of you? Like you don't know anything, right? Like to begin with, like you wouldn't be able to tell the next talent from like somebody who's gonna stay forever unknown, right? Because like nobody knows how this works
No.
to begin with, right? Like some of the most talented people, you know, are never gonna get discovered, unfortunately, right? And like some of the people maybe arguably with less talent, you know, but more work ethic and whatnot, right? They become world famous bands, you know, world famous you know, artists, actors, whatever.
See, that was part of the problem with you know with and that's part of the problem with programs like The Voice or America's Got Talent or American Idol. Again, it goes down to all goes down to shortcuts. You know, it's like, you know, all of a sudden you get handed the record deal because you're on the TV program. Wow,
Right.
I'm supposed to be impressed with that. I tell you what impresses me. It impresses me when there's 5 or 6 people in a van that are playing the Minnesota, Montana, when they're playing that flying route. That impresses me. The bands that get out there and play in front of a crowd of 30 people one day and maybe 100 the next day or maybe 75 the next day. Those are the bands that really impress me because they are working their ass off for it.
Exactly.
They're getting there. They're writing their music. They're practicing. And you're right.
Yeah.
You know, your other musician, you don't have to be the best. No one's expecting to go out there and just be spotless. In fact, it's actually
that's
sort of
boring.
cool. It's actually sort of cool when someone does miss a note or does, or misses a chord and it comes out it adds humanity. It adds humanity.
Exactly. There's a human just like me standing on the stage. Maybe I can do what he does as well.
Yeah.
You know, that's inspiring. You know, like this is what inspired us. Like, you know, going back to like me growing up in Russia and like watching a DVD of Linkin Park, like I could see them like fooling around backstage, and I was like, oh my god, this image is so different from like the normal perception of like a rock star. You know, they're just like normal guys. There's like normal dudes that are having fun. You know, like that was inspiring to me for me to figure out. You know, and that's how I got into thinking like, okay, well, if they're normal guys, you know, like maybe I have a chance of doing something. I wasn't born with the guitar, as we already established, in my hands, right? But yeah, so screw America's Got Talent, okay? The show I would want to watch is America's Got Work Ethic, okay? Yeah. So that would be like a more interesting show for me to watch.
I am too. Maybe that's the reason why we like rock and punk rock, and because it's not polished. You know, it's not.
Right.
It's not
exactly. Right. And it doesn't need to be.
Okay. Let me catch up on this chat. You guys have been really, for such a small crowd, you guys are lighting it up today. So let me go back here and talk to you guys. Let's see. Jen says here it says the state of modern music is sad. I don't even listen to the radio anymore. Neither do I, Jen. I only listen to sports radio. I have to rely on YouTube or Instagram algorithms to send something my way by surprise. Sometimes I'll go to Spotify and I'll hit random for that.
Nice.
Professor Bacarbro says mainstream music is it's in such a sad state. They repeat the same paragraph like 5 times and it's supposed to be music. No, it's terrible. Jen says to record 6 lines, including the chorus, and that's it. Yep. That's why I'm not a big fan of Michael Bublé. Fantastic voice, but he does mostly covers, and that's how he became famous. Yes. Yeah, that's true. That's what I love about Jane Monheit. I'm not a jazz person, but I love Jane Monheit. Naming winners from American Idol: Ruben Studdard, Fantasia. That was it. I'm not the Fantasia one, I guess. Hey Prince, how are you? Here, let's see. Sorry, but Simon Cowell is my hero because he was a producer of WWF The Music Volume 4. That, and I love his comment and accent. Well, yeah.
It's okay. To each their own.
See, what really pisses me off is the winner does something dumb like totally misruns and overshadows the golden opportunity. Totally ruins and overshadows the golden opportunity they were given. Yeah, well, you know what? Here's the shocker about that. When you go on, when you play, how many shows do you think Major Moment has underneath their belt? How many shows have you played?
About a couple dozen shows, I'd say. Yeah, not that many.
So you got 24. You got 24 shows underneath your belt. You have an EP. You recorded the EP, okay, and you got a new record you're going to be dropping here soon. So you got a record. You got an EP and a record, and you played. You got 24 dates underneath your belt, and that's with the shifting lineup too. Um, let me tell you, that right there is that what happens. What that does for a band, it gives them experience. It gives them wisdom.
That is true.
It's just like an actor going to acting class.
Yeah,
I mean,
and we wish we had more of that as well. So
sure.
we're working on that, and we're working on potentially playing a lot more. Especially with the lineup that is more stable now.
Definitely.
I mean, you got people out here that are like, I was talking about entitled. They feel like they're entitled. A lot of bands that go out there and they play, and they get out there and they tour and they go up and down and they face adversity. They face difficulties and they work together as a band, or sometimes they don't. But the matter of fact is they work it through together.
Yeah.
And these guys that are doing these shows, they have none of that. They get handed the key. It's like giving a 12-year-old keys to a Ferrari.
Basically, yeah.
Definitely.
He could probably start it up and maybe drive it. Maybe put it in gear, but can he drive it? No, he doesn't have the experience. So a lot of these people that came on these shows, and this is another thing what's rad about it, is they get out there and they crash and burn. All of a sudden, what happens when they don't have a gig anymore? What happens when that year ends and they don't make the money off the label wants them to make that money? They don't have them. Their albums came out there and didn't do that well. Well, guess what? The show ain't gonna bail you out. You gotta pay that money back. All that money you're gonna advance to make your record, you gotta pay it back. These shows, playing those shows are it's a death trap to a musician. No radio here either from Jeff Clark, director actor Jeff Clark from New York. No radio here either. Let's see. Jen says yes. America has work ethic. Make it happen. Yeah. When it comes down to making art, you just can't sit on your ass and expect it to happen. You have to be the art. You have to make it. So let's talk a little bit I want to talk a little bit about one thing real important to me. It's real important. How do you guys write your songs?
That's right. A process that
before we answer that question, right? I just wanted to, emphasize that, what you were talking about as far as, not taking, being able to make a living off of music for granted, right? And like not feeling entitled, right? Like being able to make a living off of your art is a luxury, like it's not a given. Like you don't just like magically deserve it. You have to go and work your ass off, right?
Yeah.
At least that's what I think, Otherwise, like you can go and find another job somewhere else, and like there's nothing wrong with that either.
And that's why it's so hard to stand out when you win some competition like The Voice, right? And that's why not a lot of people remember their names, because they skipped those steps when they had to hustle and struggle and play those shows. And that's why I think it's when they're faced with like a real world, when they have to, after they have the success, they have to like double down and record new music and find those people to work with. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, definitely. Right. So
you have to work for hard of it. I mean, I had bands play for me that, a few years before I had them come in, they were playing in front of stadiums of 10, 15,000 people. Now here they come play for me at my venue, and they're playing in front of 500. And that's when you can tell when a band is there for the money or they're there for the love. And the band that band was there for the love. They weren't there for the paycheck, because they weren't getting. They're not getting one. They're not getting one when they play to 15,000 people. They're getting played, a lot less than that. But they got there, but
Right.
they continue to play. They continue to play is because they still believe in themselves and they just love making music together.
For sure.
That's
Right.
right.
That's what matters, right? So
On the
going back
songwriting.
to your question about songwriting, right, and our process behind it. So just like the band evolves and our sound evolves, I think our process also evolves. And originally, I would say most of the songs were started by me at first as like early demos, and then I would basically sit here and try to come up with an idea. Sometimes it would have a set of lyrics, sometimes it wouldn't have a set of lyrics, and then Sasha would hear a demo, and then we would collaborate on it and turn it into a bigger demo that would potentially be ready to be taken to the studio, where our dear friend and producer Kevin Billingsley helps us out to fine-tune everything and kind of go through the song.
Take it to the next level.
Take it to the next level, go through the song with the fine comments and say, okay, I really think you guys can say this thing in a different way, better, go work on that line a little more. Maybe a melody could be a little better here. Maybe the harmony needs some work here. Just refining what we bring to the studio, right? But since Colten joined us last year, our guitarist. He also brought a few demos to me and to Sasha, and we worked on those demos and we developed them into what's going to become future Major Moment songs. We already took them to the studio; they're already recorded. So now we have another member collaborating and bringing ideas, which was never the case in the past, unfortunately. And as far as other members, we tell them, hey guys, like whenever you feel like you have something going on, an idea you want to have developed, we're gonna welcome it with open arms. Basically, feel free to send it to us, and we're gonna work on the song just as we work on any of our own songs, right?
Right.
Because for us, it's the goal is make a song. Doesn't matter who starts it, whether Sasha starts it, and Sasha started quite a few songs in the past year as well that turned into full Major Moment songs later. It doesn't matter if I started. I don't have, it doesn't have to be my song. It doesn't have to be my idea. I'm gonna work on your ideas just as hard as I work on mine, because like for us, the overall picture is what's important. The overall, the band basically, and the music behind the music that we bring to the people. Nobody's gonna be like, oh, Andrey started this song. No, it doesn't matter. Major Moment song is a Major Moment song.
Yeah, and our process of writing is a little bit different from like how
most bands probably
artists usually write songs. That's what we've heard from Kevin, our producer. He told us that like usually you just sit with the guitar and just play a couple of simple chords and you sing, and then you turn that idea and then you develop on that. With us, it's usually the synth line or some kind of a cool
production element or something.
Production element that starts the demo. So that's why
inspires us into
That's why I think we have this unique sound, and then we build on top of that.
Yeah. For me, just browsing through different sounds and different textures, it's very inspiring on its own. I might not even think or have an idea where I'm going, right? But just browsing through different presets and tweaking them and trying to apply them over different rhythms, it kind of gives me the direction of where the song needs to go. It kind of shows me this is the way, this is going to be the mood for the song, or is it like a spaced out synth, right? And it's going to be a ballad, or is it like a rhythmic EDM lead, right? That is going to become the next banger, right? Like it all depends.
Or you have a rough idea of like the meaning behind the song,
right?
And then you kind of search for the right sounds.
Yeah.
After
sure.
Is it hard to take a song, someone writes a song, let's say someone writes a song that maybe it lends itself to more pop or more, maybe a little bit more bluesy than you're used to playing. Is it hard to take a song without ruining the integrity of the lyrics? Is it hard to to write music around it to make it your own song, to make it your own sound? Is that a difficult thing to do?
I don't think we think about this.
No, not really. I don't
aspect.
think we changed it that much. And like whatever the idea Colten brought a few months ago, we didn't really have to change much. Just fine tuning. Adding more layers. We had to rewrite a few lines, and we had to add another section to the song. But like the mood of the song and the genre, they stayed intact basically. So if somebody brings an idea that is just like too far out, maybe we're gonna say, hey, like, are you sure this is like, this is something that would sound like a major moment song, right?
Right.
And if they say, yeah, I'm definitely sure, like, man, you're just like not seeing the final thing, like, we're gonna be like, sure, let's go for it. And some songs tend to be more on the poppier side, and some songs tend to be more on the heavier side, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're open to both worlds, and like, we have some bluesy lines as far as like vocal lines
Melodies.
go. Vocal melodies go, right? In the recent batch of songs we recorded in the studio. So I think we're open to ideas, right? And we're open to keep developing our sound. And I think we'll always find a way to make a song sound like Major Moment if we really try.
And what's important also is to work with a producer or some like person that you can trust, that they're gonna tell you if something sucks and it doesn't work. Like, you gotta have that person in your team,
right? So sometimes you're just a little
sometimes
you're just like a little too married to the idea, right? And like you have this demoitis going on, like you've listened to the song for like 200 times, right, while still working on a demo, and now you think that's the way like it should be, right? And if you work with somebody who does this for a living, right, who records bands for a living, he's seen hundreds of bands. He works on dozens of records every year, right? So whatever suggestions he brings to the table, maybe it's also worth paying attention to those.
Let me go up here. I'm gonna ask the question that Jen asked earlier. And now I think it'd be a good time to ask it. It says, what challenges and/or milestones have you faced in changing your sound? I haven't heard any of your work as of yet, but I've been there where an artist changed something and either loved it or said, So it's what we're talking about today. But I guess that is a more of a challenge than to work together. Like you mentioned, does that really sound like it's a band? That's a song that we would actually sing. And if someone says, well, I can see it that way. And I like the idea of what you said about, okay, you know what? Let's give it a run. We'll see what we can do with it. Because sometimes it can work. And then again, you also want the artist, you also want the bandmate to know, or the songwriter to know that, hey, okay, so maybe it doesn't work right now. Maybe it doesn't work for this record right now. But let me take it back to the garage, and maybe next time. To me, the best place to always try out a new song is live.
Yeah.
You play in front of a live crowd and you say, "There's a new one. Tell us what you think," and then you play it, and they're honest with you. They'll tell you, go like, "Hell yeah," or they'll sit there and say, "Ah." But at least you get feedback from that, right?
Right.
Hey, Larry, how are you? Larry's in the house. All right. Do you guys have more? Do you guys have any? Let's see.
So I guess I'll take the question, right? And like the challenges and the milestones, right? So I think we probably went ahead towards a slightly heavier sound than our debut EP, for example, right? And our debut EP would probably more in style of like indie metal, if that's a thing. Right, as opposed to right now, we call our genre pop metal. So
it was kind of borderline alternative rock. Melodic rock song.
Right, it had like a slightly longer form. Some songs were pushing 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Some songs had extended guitar solos. And right now we think more from the perspective of like, what can we do that serves the song rather than just like doing something for the sake of doing something, right? One of the milestones that people were, I guess, asking us is like they were asking for like heavier vocals, heavier breakdowns. So we tried to work on those, and like we tried to find a spot in our music for those, because I think if somebody told me 6 years ago like you're gonna be like doing extreme vocals and screaming your lungs out, I would say like there's no chance that can happen. Like I don't even know how to scream, So that was definitely learning. It was definitely, and I still am learning every day.
Yeah.
That was definitely like a big milestone for me, discovering a different side of vocals, which is extreme vocals, and it's a whole other category that has like hundreds of different possibilities of creating sound.
Right.
Yeah.
Same. I'm on the way to that milestone though, but I'm getting there.
But I think like maybe one of the challenges is just like trying to not overthink everything. If you, and like one of the songs we just worked on recently comes to mind, where we try to just go with whatever felt right in the moment. For us it's such a drastic change from all other songs that we've done in the past, that I'm really excited for people to hear it.
Yeah. It's gonna
without saying much more, I don't want to spoil a little bit of a surprise, but we're stoked on the song.
I can't wait for the new record to come out. I can't wait for it to come out. I can't wait for you guys to come back and so we can hear some tunes from it. It's gonna be an awful lot of fun. We got time for a couple more. Got to cut time for a couple more questions.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jeff said he just follows you on Spotify. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Let's see. Someone asked. I'll leave this up to you. You can say pass or you can answer it. How hard is it to finance? How hard is it to finance a record? I mean.
We're very open about basically whatever we do. Like we don't we don't have any secret investors in our band, unfortunately. So
Right.
So if you're a secret investor and you're watching this video, please give us a call. Right, we could definitely use your help. However, it's a huge challenge to fund the record, and producing our full length. Was probably something to the extent of like, I don't know, $20,000 all in, from pre-production to mastering, and then on top of that, we decided to go and print vinyls, right, which was another $10,000 worth of investment.
Yep.
And then music videos to make those, they're not really cheap either. Even if you want to do them yourself, you're gonna have to buy equipment, you're gonna have to buy lights, you're gonna have to buy a camera. You're gonna have to rent a space where you shoot a music video, maybe you rent lights and whatnot, right? So those run several $1,000s each, at least, right? But unfortunately, we don't have a huge savings account to just be able to fund everything and be like, okay, let's go for this one, right? It's always trying to
work extra hours.
But as far as like actually funding the thing and working with different people, we always try to find I don't want to say like the best deal possible, right? But we always try to find something that we can potentially afford without cutting corners and
compromising
on quality. Thank you. Yeah. So for us, it's very important, and if it takes working 100-hour week driving Uber, that's what I'm gonna do. Like I don't care. That I've done it in the past many times, many weeks.
Yeah.
And I'll do it again in a heartbeat. So no big deal here.
Okay. Okay, so you guys are. Hope you guys are enjoying this interview as much as I am. I'm having a blast.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah.
I'm absolutely having a blast with this one. This is awesome.
Likewise.
I want to say hi to our good friend Larry from the Horror Cat Dad just walked in from Larry's Roughnecks. It's right. He's a searcher trooper. Our good friend Steve, Desert Adventures in Arizona. Steve also appreciates good music and talent, and he's here. Thank you so much. Wait a
Thank
minute. What
you.
did you?
Thank you
I
guys
got
for
five.
being
I got
here.
5 people in here, and I need some more ones. You guys got to throw me up some ones. Yeah, I'm excited. Again, real quick, I let you guys know that if you're interested in getting a EP, Major Moments Music, this is an early EP, early effort. You can get a copy for free. You can go to their Instagram page. You can go ahead and follow them on Instagram. Send them a note saying, "Hey, I'd like to get a copy of the EP." You'll send them your address, and you'll only thing you'll have to pay for is the shipping. The shipping is done by media mail. It's the cheapest way to get anything done. So you go ahead. That's the only thing that you have to contribute is the shipping cost, which is very, very fair. And you get yourself some free music out of it. And I can't think of anything better than that, right?
Yeah, you can get a free signed CD from us. We personally,
yes,
we personally sign them, pack them, ship them, go to post office, and like then we share stories on our Instagram page. You know, it's fun. Or you can find all of our music on streaming platforms. It's all good as well.
It's like when you walk in the supermarket and there is like that sample that someone gives to you for free. This is our CD, and you can try it out. If you don't like it, that's totally
fair.
fine.
Right.
Now, do you have any live shows upcoming that we could talk about?
We don't have any planned as of now, but like I mentioned before, we're trying to, find ways to go out and play more. It's difficult being an unsigned independent band. We don't have a booking agent, we don't have a manager. Everything is done in the house, basically. So, it's a lot of hats we're wearing every day, and to book a tour is a whole other job, right?
Right.
So I don't think we're quite there yet. We're trying to establish, our presence as a band. We're trying to build interest from our fans, and then when the time is right, we were hoping to go on a tour, and hoping to see you guys at your favorite venue in your city.
I will say this to any talent buyer out there who are listening and hears my voice in the Boston, New York area. Give Major Moment a shot. Ask for a press kit. They'll be happy to send you a press kit.
Totally.
They're willing to travel. So any big clubs up in New York or Philadelphia, for that matter, if you guys want to hear a fine rock band, reach out and touch them. They're on Instagram. You can go ahead and contact them there. I don't see why a talent buyer should not be. That's how I found you. I found you because you were promoting yourselves. That's how I found you.
Thank you.
Right.
And I was just so like, hell yeah, this is how it's supposed to be. So talent buyers, get your asses off your seats. Quit playing the video game. Turn your ears open. open your ears, and take a chance on Major Moment. All right, boys and girls, we are. Let's see. That's right. The free. Oh, yeah. I remember those, Jen. All right, boys and girls, we have reached the end of our time. I want to thank you so much for coming in and hanging out with us. Major Moment, Andrey and Sasha. We will meet the rest of the band members when they come back. We're working on a follow-up date, and they will be back. They will be playing live for us. We'll hear a stripped down acoustic set from them. So that'll be something to look forward to. Okay, what do we got going on the calendar before you guys get out of here? I will be back here on Sunday night at 8 o'clock. I will be hosting the ISC show. We are going to be watching and discussing Bound to Vengeance. That's right, Bound to Vengeance. That'll be here at 8 o'clock on the ISC show. Next week, the last week in July, the first week in August, next Tuesday, we will be talking to... we'll be talking to Who am I talking to? Nobody on the 30th. On the 31st, on 30th, we'll be talking to Haley. Haley Hansen will be here with us. Haley Hansen will be here with us on Tuesday, the 30th at 8 p.m. She's a cosplayer and a singer-songwriter and an actress. She'll be here with us. On the 31st, we'll be joined by film director Tremaine Hayhoe. He will be here with us. He'll be talking about his new movie called Simp, which is an excellent film, by the way. And then on the 1st of August, we will see the return of our good friend Joe Leone will be back. Joe Leone will be back along with Ariana Oz, and they'll be talking about their new film, Scared to Death, out on Bayview Entertainment. That will be going on next week here on the channel. I want to thank the audience, the chat, my friends. Thank you guys all so much for coming in.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for being here.
And of course, if you two guys will stay there for one more second, I'm going to say goodnight to everybody else. And we will see you. We'll see you hopefully Sunday night at 8 o'clock.
Totally. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.